What I'd like to tell you about is an experience that I had in May of participating in a 2-day online course run by the Centre for Alternative Technology, which some of you may have come across, which has been going for about 40 years, based in Wales, but reaching out way beyond Wales. Centre for Alternative Technology, also known as CAT. The course was called Zero Carbon Britain, Rising to the Climate Emergency. And I wanted to bring it here to the show and tell here with AMED, because I think of that experience as kind of good learning for good purpose, which I think is very, resonates a lot with what we in AMED want to try to do, AMED's mission. So why does this learning event stand out and stay with me so strongly? 4 things come to mind. One was the excellent facilitation. It was brilliant. The sign of that was I didn't have a Zoom headache, even though we were going from like 9:30 in the morning to 5:30 in the evening, you know, with breaks and stuff. And this was CAT's first go at running an online course, and I just thought they did a brilliant job. It also left me with some hope, elation, I would say, evidence. You could say it was evidence-based hope, which was one of the strap lines used by one of the speakers. It also gave me a very strong feeling of being part of a growing community of possibility thinkers and doers. There were nearly 100 participants on that course. Individuals, people involved in community energy projects, people who work for local authorities, people working in small businesses, entrepreneurs, a range of people. And the other thing that stays with me is that the message that Zero Carbon Britain is possible, that we already have the technological solutions to reach Zero Carbon Britain by, our government has pledged to do it by the middle of the century. What we need now is urgency and rapid transition. And at the end of the course, the facilitator asked everyone to just write 1 or 2 words on a sheet of A4 and hold it up to the screen. And these were my words: possible, surrounded by real, and sort of put some little earthy brown bits in, grounded, real, possible. So that gives you a bit of a sense of what I was getting from it. A guiding principle of the CAT work, and they run all sorts of courses, as well as masters courses as well. A guiding principle of this course was wicked problems need wicked solutions. Besides very good facilitation, there were very excellent speakers, including Rob Hopkins, who you may have come across in the context of Transition Towns movement. There was Andrew Sims, who was one of the co-founders of the New Economics Foundation and is coordinator of, among other things, the Rapid Transition Alliance, which is asking the question, how can we learn from previous examples of rapid transition, like, you know, the move to non-smoking, seatbelts, and other examples. How can we apply that learning to the climate emergency? But the person who really inspired me was a woman called Sonia Bedford, who you probably haven't heard of. Sonia, I'll tell you a little bit more about her in a moment. But the core, gosh, the rain is really belting down. The core content in the 2 days was the basic strategies of our need to power up and power down. To power up our supply of renewable energy through wind, solar, hydro, ambient heat, new fuels, and to power down our energy demands in relation to buildings, transport, industry, and across both of the up and down, rethinking our diet and land use. And so what really clicked in my brain as real and possible was listening to Sonia, who lives in Wedmore in Somerset, in the Somerset Levels. I don't know if that rings bells with any one of you who's from the West Country. By day, Sonia is a solicitor specialising in energy law, and she's now kind of a leading light in that field across the UK. She did a master's at CAT I think it was about 7 or 8 years ago, and since then she's gone back to Wedmore. And Wedmore is definitely now on its journey towards zero carbon, thanks to the energy and commitment and vision of Sonia particularly, and the people she's working with. So in Wedmore, they are, through sort of tireless community engagement, they've got 6 work streams going: transport, housing, food, energy, well-being, carbon sequestration, i.e. restoring damaged peat. And lots of imaginative approaches, like micro ones, like in Wedmore and surrounding in that parish, and I think beyond now. If you're a brownie, a scout, a guide, you can do a badge in zero carbon living. And so I was watching Sonia last night actually on one of CAT's free webinars, which I can also recommend, talking about community energy groups, of which there are now about 300 across England, Wales, and one in Northern Ireland, and they're also in Scotland. And just knowing things via her, which you know, the contribution of renewables energy to the grid in the last 15 years has gone from 3% to 40%, which is a fantastic, you know, rapid transition, in spite of, you know, the lack of subsidised now, you know, the feed-in tariff being stopped, etc. So I can highly recommend the CAT course and what CAT does, and I'm now a member of CAT and doing some voluntary work for them in the form of writing up some local stories in Lewisham that they can use as case studies in their teaching and their courses. And I'll put the CAT website up on the chat in a minute. So I'd be happy to hear any reactions or questions.
We've got 50 seconds.
Thanks, Rowena.
Well, my reaction was that I went to that course face to face the year before.
Oh, brilliant.
And it was a great course. And I think that you probably got as much from it with Zoom, you know, because I don't know, it's extraordinary, isn't it?
Totally brilliant.
Mm. Yeah.
My comment might be that perhaps we could post some information about that in the AMED events page and encourage people to go on.
Indeed. And I was also thinking of just saying to Kat that I've done this, had this chat with all of you, and so that they know that they're known about in our network as well.
The big secret to me that seemed to be quiet and nobody talks about is making gas from electricity as a means to keep renewables going. You know, when you produce too much electricity as renewable, you can make gas with it, which you can then store and then use to make electricity again. And that secret doesn't seem to have got out. And we also, in this country, haven't yet got a big system to demonstrate it. It's not even a demo version of it.
Yeah.
Not in
local flexibility around the grid is a key thing. And there was are you saying stop now?
Stop, and we're eating into Bella's time, which I don't want us to do.
Right, thank you. Thanks for facilitating, Marina.